What's going on, Jerome's? So us Vikings fans were sort of front side focused when it came to Black Monday because of the firings of Rick Spielman and Mike Zimmer. But a lot of things went down around the league, and we just want to go through the tracker. NFL.com has a really good tracker. It's really funny. So NFL Network, NFL.com, of course, is owned by the league, and then they just track their own hirings and firings. It's kind of funny. It's awesome. But they sorted out really well. Let's go to the firings first. You're fired. So the Panthers. So this also covers assistants as well as head coaches and GMs, which is good. So the Panthers, I'm surprised that Matt Rule survived 2 years of underachieving, and maybe David Tepper is like, why did I give this jabroni a 7-year contract for $89 bajillion? But they already fired Joe Brady. Special teams coordinator Chase Blackburn is out. And you'll see this when a head coach is on borrowed time and is probably a dead man walking. They're shuffling or reshuffling the chairs on that deck of the Titanic where he just throws his assistants under the bus. It's not me. It's my assistants I hired. Luckily, it never got to that point with Zimmer. Bears, fake-ass Brad Childress, Matt Nagy, he gone, as well as GM Ryan Pace. And that could be an intriguing opening, not because of ownership, because I think that McCaskey-Hallis ownership is pretty poor, but also they don't have a first-round pick. But you do have Justin Fields. You do have Darnell Mooney. You do have the leftovers of Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn. So there are some pieces there in Chicago. David Montgomery as well. Broncos, George Payton, our guy, moved on from Vic Fangio. And you'll see this every now and then where a GM will come in with an existing head coach. You'll hold on to the head coach for a year. If it works out, great. If it doesn't work out, it's like, it's not me. It's the head coach. I have not been given a chance to hire my own guy. It's a very smart way to extend your shelf life. Jacksonville, of course, man, does it seem like 5 years ago they fired Urban Meyer? It's a long time. The Dolphins, that was a shocker. And there's always a shocker or two when it comes to hirings and firings. But getting rid of Brian Flores, we've said our piece. I think that was a mistake by Miami. Vikings, of course, Zimmer and Spielman gone. The Giants, apparently they fired Jason Garrett in November. I forgot about that. Whatever. Then also the parting of the ways. OC Anthony Lynn, former Chargers head coach, he's going to be on the market, as well as John Gruden. Man, I forgot. John Gruden, long time, because the Raiders, they made the playoffs with I'm Rich Bisaccia, or whatever his name is, and then retired Dave Gettleman. Retired as opposed to just being fired. So now going through all of the interviews, because those are coming fast and furious. See, Panthers, Pep Hamilton as OC. The Bears have been busy, right? So they're going after everyone. The Bears and the Broncos have had the most interview requests, it seems like. So for the Bears, head coach, Bowles, Eberflus, Dayball, Leslie Frazier, who played for the Bears back in the day, has done a great job with McDermott getting that defense to one of the tops in the NFL with Buffalo. Nathaniel Hackett, Buddy Wackett, Byron Leftwich, Doug. We got the wrong Doug. And then GM Adolfo Mensah, as well as Morocco Brown, Glenn Cook. They're definitely going after the Browns. Now, I do think that Chicago makes a lot of sense for Pretty Ricky Spielman. And I've already called my shot. Spielman, Leslie, 2022 for the Bears. And, Broncos. So, obviously, they have their GM, Jumpin' George Payton. But, head coach interviews, Bieniemy, Jonathan Gannon, who's up and coming as the Eagles DC, Luke Getsy, who is actually the Packers passing game coordinator, allegedly, as well as quarterbacks coach, Aaron Glenn, the Lions DC, Nathaniel Hackett, just going after the Packers as well, Gerard Mayo, the de facto defensive coordinator for the Patriots, Kellen Moore, of course, Kevin O'Connell, and DQ, Dan Quinn. That's right, man. I like Dan Quinn. Blowing that Super Bowl, obviously that sped up his termination. But Jacksonville's also beginning after it. So D. Bevs, who's been the Jacksonville interim head coach, he was also the Lions interim head coach last year after they fired Patricia, which is funny. Bowles is in the mix. Jim Caldwell, former Lions and Colts head coach. Eberflus as well, keeping things in the AFC South. Buddy Wackett, Leftwich. Come back to Duval. Kellen Moore. And they... B.O.B. You would think that a team that is in the division with the Houston Texans know about Bill O'Brien. No. No. And sure, maybe he's rehabbed his career to a degree as OC of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Not in the national title game, but of course that will happen when your top two wide receivers get hurt. But no. Doug, I actually do think that Jacksonville will be a good spot for Doug, and also DQ. Let's see, Dayball, keeping things in the AFC East. Giants going after GM, obviously, because they're holding on to Joe Judge. So Carthon, Cowden, Ossenfort, who we really like. Peters, Joe Shane is going to be a hot name as well. Adrian Wilson. Yeah, A-Dub, man. That is Adrian Wilson, former safety for the Cardinals. Remember Adrian Wilson, that viral video of him like vertical leaping 6 feet. It's kind of crazy, man. He's worked his way up. Like Adrian Wilson, Dan Morgan, former players who have definitely climbed the ladder. Respect, man. And the Vikings have not interviewed anyone yet because, as Mark Wolf said, they're going to go for GM first and then go for head coach. I think probably today or at minimum this week, they're going to be starting to line up some GM interviews because, I mean, they got to move fast. Because if you're going to hire the GM first, then get him in, and then you're going to interview the head coaches. Some of these guys are going to be offered the job right away, whether it's GM, whether it's head coach. So if you want the top guys, you're going to have to start getting moving. Even though, like we said, I do think that Minnesota is a very attractive job. You do have stable ownership who does stay out of the way. That's really big for a GM as well as for a head coach to a degree. You have your draft picks. You have some trade capital. In Kirk Cousins, as well as potentially Daniel Hunter. You have Jefferson and Thielen and Dalvin and Kendricks and Harrison and Brian O'Neill and Darisaw. So, yeah, the cupboard certainly is not bare here in Minnesota. And also you have a very patient fan base who, even if you just get to the Super Bowl, will love you forever. So, there you go. But your thoughts are thoughts. Black Monday tracker. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.